Welcome back, everybody. You know who I am. I know who you are. Needed a drink after today. I don't know about you guys, but it has been a little crazy. So today, what I want to talk about is just a one-on-one conversation between me and you. And I just want to talk about what's going on right now with the stock market. Have we bottomed? Okay, I'm seeing a lot of questions out there on whether or not we've bottomed. People predicting that the bottom is in after today. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But that's what the point of today's video is, to talk about it and understand what may or may not be happening. Before we do that, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell, and, well, take a sip, because this is going to be a bumpy one. Let's get into it. All right, so we closed today up at about $930 a share. So on the whole, just looking at today, not too bad. I mean, I think we bottom out today at about $852 a share, which I won't lie to you, I didn't ever think we would see the 800s again. I thought I just didn't think it would happen. I thought we'd be done with that. But yet here we are again. We saw 800. I mean, I thought we would never see the low 900s again. And again, here we are. Closing at 930 seemed like a relief, right? Something where last week I was thinking, there's no way we're going to keep going down, lower and lower, right? Every single support I saw, the stock just blew right by it. So what's going on, right? What's wrong with Tesla? Well, what bad news has come out with Tesla? And most of you all know the answer to this by now. Nothing. Nothing's wrong with Tesla. Tesla as a company is sound. Tesla, if anything, is the most sound company out there right now, except for maybe Apple. Maybe Apple is the only other one you would look at. The most sound company out there to invest in if you really want growth. And even then, like if you look at companies like Apple, if you look at companies like Microsoft or Amazon, those are companies that I would say are going to grow as aggressively as Tesla will moving forward. So why do I say Tesla's fine? And if it's fine, what's going on? Well, let's start off with Tesla. First of all, in this kind of environment, Tesla, fundamentally, as a company, they're in the perfect position. All right, they only in this last year have they started actually being profitable without any regulatory credits. They just got done building essentially 2 brand new gigafactories, so it's not like they're gonna have to shell out more capital in order to increase production. Right, the gigafactories are done. They're built. It's just a matter of them getting, the blessing from regulatory bodies to go ahead and start production. So they have enough, factory space to go ahead and double, triple what they currently do right now for sales. On top of that, their gross margins just keep getting better and better. Shanghai keeps expanding. Fremont keeps getting better. The average selling price of a Tesla just keeps going up and up with inflation, which is the second reason why Tesla is such a great investment for this type of period, is because in a inflationary period, you really want to own companies that sell products. Why? Because when they sell products, what that means is they can pass on that inflationary cost onto other people, onto the buyers. Doesn't mean they'll do all of it, but it means that they have some room there to go ahead and put it onto other people so that the company doesn't get affected by it. And a company like Tesla that has, insane demand, right? They don't have a demand problem. They have a production problem. They cannot produce fast enough for all the demand. That's a very nice place to be in. Now, the next reason why Tesla is perfectly fine, right? It's arguably one of the best companies to invest in, is because they effectively have no debt. All they are doing now is printing money and adding it to their stockpile. In fact, they're very soon going to have an issue of what do we do with all this money? Okay, they're sitting on $16+ billion of cash just sitting there, not working for them. So, as time goes by, this may become a first world problem for Tesla, and it's a problem that Tesla's never really had because they've always been in that startup mentality up until this point. So then why is all this happening? If Tesla's so great, why is this happening? Why is this happening everywhere? Well, again, you probably already know this. It's this whole macro environment. It's this double-edged sword where we're in this period where we have crazy high inflation, which in my opinion isn't real inflation, despite what other people may say. But we have high inflation. We have very low interest rates. The Fed has been pumping money more and more into the market throughout COVID. And now the only way to battle inflation is to taper down the amount of stimulus you're putting into the economy and then to raise rates. And that's freaking the market out. All right, it's a taper tantrum is what people are calling it, and it's the market just reacting to this. And I think the bigger part is that they don't know what's happening moving forward. Okay, the Fed has not been clear. The Fed has said one thing and then they do another. The Fed doesn't know what's going on. And if we know one thing from history, it's that normally these recessions, these even depressions, tend to be inflicted by the Fed putting their thumb on the scale and trying to fix the market. As we all know, you can't fix the market. Right? It's a living, breathing thing that nobody has yet been able to box in and figure out. The only thing we know is that over time, we tend to go up and to the right. That's the only thing we know. The Fed's never been good at doing this. Okay, we saw it in the 80s, we saw it in the 70s, we saw it in the late 2000s, and now we're seeing it again. It's the Fed coming in here and, they're trying to play God, if you will, with the markets. And I get it. Inflation's high. The Biden administration is putting pressure on Jerome Powell. Jerome Powell thought things were transitory. Now he's taken that out of his vocabulary. So what's he to do? Now, here's the bigger problem. Okay, so if the Fed tries to tackle inflation and we see what's happening to the stock market, it's kind of a double-edged sword because now he's potentially causing a recession, right? I'm not saying we're in a recession, but we're definitely not in a bull market anymore. We're definitely in a very bearish state. I mean, the Nasdaq's essentially in bear territory, severe correction territory. The S&P 500 is right behind it. The Dow Jones is right behind it. And essentially, we've lost about anywhere from 30 to 50% of the entire market. I mean, that's where we're sitting at right now. And not to mention the biggest growth names out there, the Teslas, the Apples, the Microsofts, these companies that are so fundamentally sound on a balance sheet perspective, these companies that have crazy growth, they're the ones getting hit the hardest. And so why is all this happening? It's because the Fed is trying to course correct from what they did before. The Fed is trying to essentially take the stock market off of a drug that they've been given. Okay, the stock market has been given this drug, and now the stock market is essentially going through withdrawals. And this withdrawal is leading to this mass correction, this mass up and down swings. So let's get back to Tesla. What does this mean for Tesla, especially since we have earnings coming out on Wednesday? Now, initially, I wanted to make this video specifically about earnings, and I was going to go over my numbers. But now that's going to have to be a video for tomorrow, because I think this is more important to talk about what we have going on for the week. So today, we made it out alive today, is what I would say. I had some shorter positions that I decided to just close out on. I didn't want to deal with the headaches of that anymore. So, I took a loss on some of that. But luckily, the majority of my portfolio is just in Tesla shares. So really, in the big scheme of things, I'm not too worried about anything. It's just a matter of riding all of this out. And over the long term, it'll be fine, right? Over the long term, we'll be up and to the right. It's just these short-term periods, these short inflections that are really starting to create all this turmoil. And so when it comes to Tesla, I think the best thing you can do is sit and be patient, right? Today, we got out alive, as I said. Tomorrow, the biggest worry we have for tomorrow are two things. One, we don't know what's going to happen with Russia and Ukraine. Right? If Russia invades Ukraine, that's going to send markets down again. I'm convinced of it. I don't think there's doubt about it. I think the whole world's going to get spooked by this, especially because we don't want to enter another potential World War III. We don't want to have to sit there and worry about any kind of escalation between us and Russia. And what does that mean for China? Because China backs Russia, right? It just becomes this whole geopolitical, arena we don't want to be in. Nobody wants to be in this, especially not right now. Not days before Tesla earnings, not before a day before Jerome Powell speaks about what's going on with the Fed. I mean, it's just from a market perspective, we don't want any of this. Period. So tomorrow, that's a big risk, right? We got to keep an eye on that, and there's nothing we can do about it. So the only thing we can do about it is sit, wait. If you have any crazy short positions, at this point, you might want to take the L on it. Hey, you can write off on your taxes in the future for future gains, but don't get too risky with these, right? Don't risk anything that you can't afford to lose. What I mean by afford to lose is, anything that's going to just financially ruin you. So if you were playing that game, be careful. We've all been there. It's happened, but again, that's why we preach investing for the long term. Hopefully if you do have any kind of options or anything, they're for long-term contracts where, this sucks right now. But honestly, if you have leaps, do you really think in 2 or 3 months we're even going to be thinking about this or talking about this? I don't. I think in 2 or 3 months this is all going to be behind us. It's hitting us now, so now it's the focus. So Tuesday, whatever happens with Russia, Ukraine, hopefully nothing happens. Hopefully it's just talking and posturing and more buildup on the border, and hopefully nothing actually happens. Hopefully Russia kind of backs down and takes a little bit of a hiatus on everything going on there and those tensions. Wednesday's the big day. Wednesday is D-Day for the stock market. On Wednesday, Jerome Powell and team will come out and we'll actually get the Fed minutes. We'll understand what they talked about during their meeting, which starts tomorrow and goes into Wednesday. And that's where we're really going to be looking for keywords from Jerome Powell, right? Are they more hawkish? Do they insinuate on more rate hikes? Are they dovish now, right? Or are they going to do something to try to, temper the markets and calm things down? I don't think they are. I think they're just going to hold their true north. And their true north is we're going to taper until March. And then come March, we're going to start raising rates at, 25 basis points or 0.25 increase each hike. And I think we'll probably see 3 to 4 hikes. Right now, I think the market's anticipating about 4.25 hikes this year. But the biggest thing to me is consistency. I think if Jerome Powell comes out and says, nope, the plan that we said is what we're going to stick with. We're going to keep tapering until March, then we'll raise rates in March, and we'll go from there. I think if Jerome Powell comes out with that type of language and that consistency, the market will take that and they'll appreciate it and they'll understand it. Because at that point, the market hates uncertainty, and that's the biggest thing to remember. Anything that's up and down, the market hates. They don't like the Fed to fluctuate. They don't want the Fed to be unpredictable. They want a predictable Fed. If we know you're going to taper in March and you're going to increase rates in March, okay, at least we know what you're going to do. And so then you are no longer a factor, all right? At least I can predict your next move. When the Fed is wishy-washy, that's when the market really starts to freak out. So that will come out at 2:30 p.m. And you'll probably see that streaming on YouTube. And honestly, I probably won't talk about it because that's going to be the same night as Tesla earnings. And so this will be very interesting, right? What happens? What if the Fed says something that's not quite what we want to hear, or it's just a little off and the market starts to sell off? Well, Tesla, I don't know. Today was interesting with Tesla. We hit 852 low. We got up to, I think, 930. Rough numbers here. Don't quote me on these. But the point is that we rallied. And it wasn't just us, it was the market. So tomorrow, Wednesday, do we start to see a rally into Tesla earnings? Look, unless you live under a rock, Tesla earnings are going to be phenomenal. I mean, I'll go over my numbers tomorrow, but these numbers are going to be insane. And my numbers are conservative, in my opinion at least. We'll find out. But I don't think I'm too far off of, what other people are as far as, being conservative on these numbers. And the biggest thing that is very hard to quantify is Tesla's operating leverage, right? How much operating leverage do they get? What do I mean by that? What I mean is they have 2 factories. They have X amount of employees. They have X amount of lines to build vehicles, all right? None of that has changed. That's all stayed the same. That variable has remained dynamic or static, okay? So in other words, if I tell you that I work 40 hours a week, and that's it, 40 hours a week, and normally I produce, 100 vehicles in that 40 hours. And now I'm telling you, I work the same amount of hours, I have the same amount of resources, yet now I'm delivering 200 vehicles a week. That's operating leverage. I'm doing the same. I'm doing more with the same amount I've already invested. Tesla has the 2 factories, the same amount of people, the same amount of lines, and somehow they keep upping and upping and upping their deliveries. Right? They blew it out of the park with their deliveries. So this is the operating leverage that people aren't really factoring in. For any of you who are out there doing options or trading options, it's the same effect, right? You're taking the same amount of money and you're leveraging, right? And you're getting more for it if it goes up. Well, it's the same thing. Tesla's doing the same and they're getting more out of the same amount of resources they've already invested in. So that means margins go up. That means that their profits go up. That means that their operating leverage continues to increase. And that's going to be very hard for us to account for. And don't forget, we also have average selling price for Teslas going up, right? We haven't really seen the back end of all this, right? We haven't seen all these price increases really start to come into the numbers. And every one of those price increase, I mean, maybe some of it goes to increase of cost of goods just to build the vehicles, but I think a lot of it falls down to the bottom line. So Tesla's going to blow it out. I'm convinced by that. I have very little doubt about that. And Elon Musk is going to go ahead and give a product roadmap. If Elon Musk on top of that says, Giga Austin is up and live. We'll be delivering vehicles by the end of this quarter. Berlin will be live mid-February. We'll be delivering vehicles by the end of the quarter. We will also be adding the 4680 battery to the structural pack for the Model Ys built in Austin. 4680 batteries are essentially ready. Now we're just going to scale them up. I think forget about it, right? I mean, if you take the macros aside, those would be record statements, crazy statements. And so I think there's a lot of good to do here with Tesla, but keep in mind, right now, Tesla is sound, and yet it's still taking a beating. And this is strictly because the macro world we're living in right now and all of the news and right, it's not a Tesla issue. It's a macro issue that we're having right now with the market. So here's the real question. If Tesla has amazing earnings, if Elon makes some amazing announcements about where we are with certain, with the factories, where we are with 4680 battery, when we'll actually start seeing deliveries, if they continue to guide 50% growth year over year, will that be enough to buck the trend for Tesla compared to the market? I don't know. Nobody knows. Anybody out there who says they know, they're wrong. Nobody knows. All we know is that Tesla is a sound company and that they have very little debt. They have a surplus of cash. They have 2 factories that are about to be completed or are completed. Who knows? Those are the things we know. We can't affect it. We can't predict or change anything else in the macro. The only things we can do are invest for the long term. The only things we can do is sit there and wait and be patient. At the end of the day, all this will pass, right? In a year from now, we'll look back. Tesla might be at $1,500 a share. And we'll be like, oh my goodness, you remember how crazy that January month was? And look at where we are now, right? This happened before. This happened this last December where we were all like geeking out and just all excited about where the stock price was. It happened January 1st or January 3rd, whatever the first trading day was, where we just saw the stock shoot up because of those record delivery numbers. And then, the Fed decided to put their thumb on the scale and everything just went to hell. But that's where we are. So Thursday, we'll see the true results of the Fed. We'll see the true results of Tesla earnings. If the Fed can come out sounding calm, collected, keeping the same message as they've been having without saying anything too controversial or too, ambiguous, and if Tesla can deliver on the numbers that we know they're going to deliver, and Elon Musk doesn't say anything too crazy to send the stock, just completely volatile to the negative side, we might have actually hit a bottom of Tesla. Lots of ifs there. Lots of things. Nothing I'm saying you should gamble on. Nothing I'm saying you should bet on. The only thing I would say is none of this is investment advice. I'm just telling you what I see in my predictions. So I think Thursday's when we'll know what's actually going to happen moving forward. Thursday's a very important day for us. Wednesday's a very important evening for us. And so all we can do is wait. So listen, I feel the pain that you're feeling. I get it. This sucks. Like you guys know, I'm all in on Tesla. I own no other investment in the stock market other than Tesla. I obviously have real estate, but as far as stocks, it's only Tesla. And so when you see Tesla take a 30% hit, I took a 30% hit in my portfolio. So trust me, that's not the best feeling, but it's all about the long term. As I've said, I think that by 2025 we'll see a $3,000 to $5,000 stock price. I think by 2030 we'll see anywhere from a $7,000 to $10,000 stock price. So, am I really too upset at the end of the day when those are the numbers? And that's what I believe. That's what I've modeled out. I mean, that's what the numbers show, right? And those are really more so the bear case, right? If Tesla doesn't execute as amazingly as I know they're going to. So a lot to be optimistic about. I get it. Hard times to be optimistic, but keep your mind on the bigger picture. Okay? Take a step back. We got out alive today. Take a sip. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy your family. Enjoy life. I know it's rough right now, but this will pass, and this will eventually be a memory of, man, what a crazy start to 2022 we had. And hopefully that's all it will be, and we'll see better times here soon. So again, I'm here with all of you. You know, I get it. Sometimes, you know, and I'm hoping this channel resonates. I'm hoping this episode becomes something that, hopefully my audio didn't go off here. Hopefully this becomes an episode where, you know, this is the messaging you need to hear. You know, maybe the people at home, you know, you're not comfortable talking to them about this stuff, but I'm here. I understand. Leave me some comments down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if everything's going all right. You know, at the end of the day, we'll all get through this together. Great Tesla community. You know, go on Twitter. Lots of people talking about this. So there's a lot of solidarity out there. All right, we're going to leave it there. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Ring that bell. Keep those thoughts positive out there. Hopefully Wednesday is a very beautiful day for all of us. All right. Thank you again. Peace.